Hello, my name is Thor, and I'm here at the NT Writers Festival with the two bookshop keepers, Bronwyn Drews from Red Kangaroo Books.
Hello.
And hello, Bronwyn. And Sean Guy from the Bookshop Darwin.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Obviously I've been working in a bookshop, so I've experienced a bit myself, but I'm curious to know about what do you bookshop keepers do to, let's say, prepare for such a festival here?
Well, I think I'll let Sean talk because he's right in the midst of it.
Yeah, the NT Writers Festival is happening right now and it is full on, but it's phenomenal. The preparation for it, yeah, it's a lot. We usually start about 3 months in advance. I was also on the advisory committee this year, so I got to look at the early drafts of the authors that were invited and helped them cross off a few names, not really. But yeah, no, we start looking at this well in advance and making lists of all the different books that they have, the different publishers that we have to source them through, making sure we can get them in time, and what we'll do if we have boxes and boxes left over, which hopefully won't happen.
And so far, how have you found this festival, Bronwyn?
Oh, it's been great. The weather's been fantastic. The speakers have been amazing. And it's just a beautiful venue by the sea because, as you know, we live in the desert, so we don't get to see water very much. So it's been fabulous.
Ah, cool. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful setting here at the festival. So I was thinking about what are some of the oddest experiences you've had in your bookstores? You want to start, Sean?
Sure, yeah. We get so many, almost I would say one a day, we just get this crazy random request. But I think one of my favourite ones was this guy came in once and he said, could you help me find a book to prepare for the end of the world? And I looked up everything. I looked up, Doomsday, Revelations, End of the World, like everything, trying to help him find the sort of thing that he was after, like making bunkers and stuff. And I said to him, I'm really sorry, man, we don't have anything in stock, but I could probably order something for you, Normally Australian supplies, about 2 weeks. And he said, oh no, that'll be a bit too late. And I was like, too late for what? This guy's running out the door and I'm like, tell me what you know. It was, really concerning, but
Slightly surreal.
Bit surreal, yeah. But that was just one of many, We've had books about, someone asked me for a Bible once and I said, is that for like a christening? And they said, no, for an exorcism. I was like, I don't know what to do with that information, but I wish you well.
I don't think I can top those two stories, but there was once a young gentleman came into the store, sat cross-legged in front of one of the bookcases in the store and proceeded to sniff every single book. That took about 2 hours. And when he finished, he looked really happy and he left the store without buying one at all.
He looked really happy. Jeez. It is a nice smell, I guess.
Okay, so it sounds like actually visiting a bookstore can be quite a funny experience. And I was thinking about there's so much online sale now of books. What do you guys do to kind of keep the customers coming to your shops? If you want to start.
Yeah, I think, was it Mark Twain who said something about the death of bookshops is greatly over-exaggerated, something like that? I think that's been really true. About 15 years ago, everyone was really scared that books would die out and that'd be the end of it. But I think what we've seen is this kind of moving into a world where it's good to have both books and online books. There's a place for having a Kindle with 200 books when you're on a plane for 6 months, traveling around the world. But most people, I think, given the option, they want the book that they can share and show to their friends and get signed by the author. And there are certainly some genres that do a bit better online, but the independent booksellers I know, like us, I think we're still having a great time. And we've got a really great customer base, so we're very lucky.
Yeah.
So, Bronwyn, what are you doing for your customers?
So, what am I doing? Well, we have an online store as well as obviously the bricks and mortar store. You're probably the same, social media, pictures, talking about authors, events. So we really try and engage with people online. And the bookstore is still going really well, and bricks and mortars are still going to be here, I think, for quite a long time.
Hope so. Otherwise I'll have to get a new job.
That'd be sad.
Yeah, it would.
So, Sean,
Yeah.
you're not only a bookseller, but you're a published author.
Yep.
And the title of your book is The Firebringer.
Yeah.
And-
Here's one I prepared earlier.
And so if a customer comes into the bookstore and picks up your book and looks interested, but then is not quite sure, and what should I tell the customer about your book? Can you share a bit more about the story in the book?
I love when people come into my bookshop and pick it up and they don't know that I work there. My game is to sort of describe myself for as long as I can without them realising who it is. So I'll walk up to them and say, hey, I don't know if you know anything about that book, but it's written by this really handsome local author. He's about this tall. He's very clever, very funny. And I'll just watch them go, yep, yep, yep. None of them have ever guessed it's me from that description, unfortunately. But yeah, The Firebringer, book one, it's kind of inspired by my favourite books like American Gods and Percy Jackson. It's very much ancient myth meets the modern world. So my book is really heavily inspired by my favourite books like American Gods by Neil Gaiman and Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. It's all sort of ancient myths meets the modern world. The first one in the series is kind of about a guy who wages a one-man war on the local criminal underworld. But beyond that, the series kind of grows bigger within its own world, and it's set over 5 weeks, the 5 books. So it's a very close-knit story, and each sort of big climactic moment starts like the very next day in the very next book. So it just kind of ramps along, and there's this kind of bigger overarching plot that not everyone knows about, but everyone gets drawn into. It's been a lot of fun to write, and so far people are enjoying reading it.
Fantastic. So, Sean, it's available at the Bookshop Darwin
Yes.
to buy, and paper copy.
Yes.
And
Also
soon to be-
online in some places.
Yes, and soon to be available at Red Kangaroo Books as well. So thanks, Sean, for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's all right. Thanks, Thor, for interviewing us.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We appreciate it.